Hi friends, today I'd like to share 5 things I learned that could help me to improve my painting skill quickly. 11 months ago I painted this fairywren, and the one on the right hand side is the one I just painted recently. I think you could tell there's something wrong with this painting. It doesn't look natural, and this one look more natural and realistic. Number 1. Reference photo. 11 months ago, when I painted this fairywren, I thought it's only a practice painting, so I don't need a reference photo. But I was so wrong. Reference photo play an important part in painting, especially if you wish to paint realistic. Reference photo will allow us to understand the value correctly, form and shape, texture, etc. I would like to send a big thank you to my friend Janda for providing this beautiful fairywren reference photo. 5 months after I painted the first fairywren, I received a commission painting to paint this basket of vegetables. You see the improvement? This time I used reference photo, and my painting have improved a lot. If you'd like to see how I paint this watercolor vegetable, I will put the link in the description box below. Not just reference photo, but I also learned some new watercolor technique that could help me to achieve the result of this painting. That would lead us to our second point. Learn and practice all the watercolor technique. I think we all familiar with watercolor technique, wet on dry and wet on wet, like the one I'm doing right now. We apply clear water on the paper first and then we drop on the pigment. But when I discovered another technique which called wet on damp, that's changed the result of my painting and the way I paint. Just like what I'm doing here is when I wait for the water and the existing pigment to absorb into the paper until it's no longer looking shiny, and then I drop in another layer of pigment. Obviously it's not too watery, otherwise it will create a bloom. This is when you can control the pigment and still making it looking soft. Number 3. Less is more. When I first learned how to draw and to paint, I tend to include all the details I seen in the reference photo, and that could become overwhelming for us as a painter and the viewer. So I learned how to paint suggestedly. Like over here, I paint just a few strokes and lines to suggest the texture of the tiny feather. If we paint too detailed, then our painting could look too crowded and too busy, and there's no room for the viewer eyes to rest. But in a different case, if you aim to get photorealistic, then you can blow up your painting a lot bigger and add all the detail you've seen in the reference photo. Number 4. Using limited palette. These are the 3 pigments I use throughout the entire painting: alizarin crimson, Winsor lemon, and Winsor blue. They are from Winsor Newton Professional Watercolor. When I first started watercolor, I used pre-mixed color, and I tend to use too many pigments in my painting. So my painting end up looking disconnected and confused. Once I learned how to use limited palette, it helped me with my color mixings and create harmony in my painting. Have you ever tried to limit the pigment you use during your painting? What do you think? Do you enjoy learning how to mix the color and get to know color theory better? In this painting, I mix my own green by using Winsor lemon and Winsor blue. I drop on some Winsor lemon in the background, around the bird's head especially, to give contrast to the blue. I didn't just learn how to mix the color, but I also learned how to observe the color. When you pay close attention or observation, white feather or white objects actually contain colors. If you don't add any color to your white subject, then it will look flat. And I also learned not to use black straight from the tubes. I mix my own black. The black from the tube tend to make your painting look flat. And also when you paint a black subject also contain different value and color. So painting black object is just like other color object. Make sure you start with light color and then build your way up. As my painting gets dry, I just add a few more strokes to the cheeks feather to create the texture of the feather, and then add darker pigment to the legs of the birds. I keep the birds' legs and claws very simple and soft looking because I want the viewer's eye to focus on my focal point, which is the bird head. Number 5. Confident brush stroke. As a beginner, I think we all experience painting like this, using a brush which is way smaller than your subject size and then fill up the shape with pigment. This is more like a coloring in than painting. Use the brush that's large enough for your subject, and if you could finish just one brush stroke, do it. The big, bold, confident brush stroke really changed the result of my painting. I hope you give this a try. And I finally draw to an end of my painting. I just looking around to see where I could add a little bit more details, clean up and tidy up those area and edges. I didn't follow the reference photo exactly. I changed the shape of the bird a little bit, and I also bring the fruit from down near the feet up to the top here. So if we actually minus the time that I was on holiday for a month and a half and the time that I was sick, of course I was sick so many times during this year and last year because my son went to school and I got all the colds and flu from him. So if we minus all of those time plus the time that I was busy, couldn't paint, so the period that I learned all of this is probably not 11 months apart. It could be just 5 or 6 months. And I believe if you don't have the life that I am in right now and you have more time to concentrate on your painting, then I believe you could improve your painting a lot faster than I am. Apologize for my rusty voice as I'm still recovering. I hope this video contains something useful and helps you to improve your painting quickly. Thank you so much for staying around till the end, and thank you for your kind support and comments. Until next time, happy painting!